So this guy Jay thought he could shove my friend Sarah around and get away with it. Big mistake. See, while Jay was busy being an abusive piece of work, I was a student worker with full access to enrollment records. And let me tell you, when someone hurts my friends, I don't get mad, I get creative. You'll see how I weaponized a phone call to ruin his semester. What I did to this guy's entire academic future using nothing but his student ID number was so perfectly timed and so devastating that by midnight, he lost his student status and his visa without ever seeing me in a fight. But to understand how a simple game night turned into this epic takedown, I need to take you back to where it all started. This whole thing started back when the internet was still new and I was just a regular student at my local junior college. I had moved in with my girlfriend Lucy to save money on rent, and we had this nice little routine going. One night Lucy tells me she invited someone from her class over for game night. Turns out this new girl Sarah was actually someone I knew from high school. We weren't best friends back then, but we got along fine and it was nice to reconnect. The night went great, everyone had fun, and Sarah just kind of became part of our regular group after that. Sarah started coming over pretty frequently for dinner nights, movie nights, more game nights. She was easy to be around and fit right in with everyone. But then she started bringing her boyfriend Jay along sometimes. And let me tell you, this guy was a mood killer. He'd sit there standoffish, barely talking to anyone, making the whole room uncomfortable. We kept inviting him anyway because we didn't want to be rude to Sarah, but nobody really wanted him around. Fortunately for everyone, he only came over maybe 2 or 3 times before he started making excuses not to come. Fine by us. But here's where things got weird. Sarah kept coming over without him, and apparently Jay was getting seriously upset about it. He started accusing her of cheating on him with someone in our friend group. Maybe me, maybe Lucy, maybe both of us. I don't know what was going through his head, but none of that was happening. We were just friends hanging out, playing games, watching movies. Normal stuff. Sarah never told us about Jay's accusations at first. She just kept coming over and having a good time with everyone. But Jay kept getting more and more angry about it behind the scenes. His jealousy was building up, and Sarah was trying to deal with it on her own. Then one night Sarah called Lucy crying and asked if she could come over. When she got to our place, she told us what had happened. Jay had completely lost it on her. He was screaming at her, calling her all kinds of horrible names. Really nasty stuff that I won't repeat here. The worst part was when Sarah tried to leave their apartment. She walked toward the door to get away from him, and Jay shoved her back. Hard. Sarah tripped over their coffee table and went down, hitting her back and butt on the furniture. Lucy showed me a bruise so deep it was dark blue, covering Sarah's lower back and butt. Sarah kept saying Jay had never hit her before. She thought maybe it was just an accident, that he didn't mean to push her that hard. But I was absolutely furious. You don't put your hands on women. Period. You don't assault my friends. Period. And this piece of garbage thought he could just get away with it. I'm no brawler, so I plotted a revenge no one would suspect. See, I had this student job working in the administration building at our school. Part of my job involved accessing student records, checking fees, looking up class schedules. I had access to all kinds of information about every student enrolled there. And I knew something about Jay that Sarah had mentioned before. He was a foreign student. Which meant he had to stay enrolled with a certain number of units to keep his student status. Fast forward to when the deadline was approaching for dropping or adding classes without penalty. I looked up Jay's information in the system, got his student ID number, and started putting together a plan that would teach him exactly what happens when you mess with my friends. What I did next was so simple, yet so devastating, that it changed his entire life in a matter of minutes. Then, on the last day to change schedules, I picked up the phone, and changed his life. I called the enrollment phone lines from the administration building and dropped every single one of Jay's classes. Then I went through and added every class one could find that had course fees attached. If you owed money to the school, you couldn't get transcripts or do anything else until you paid up. Here's the thing I didn't mention earlier. Jay was a foreign student. He couldn't stay in the country if he wasn't enrolled with enough units. So when I wiped out his entire class schedule right before the deadline, he was basically screwed. No classes meant no student status. No student status meant no visa. Sarah told me Jay never showed up that next Tuesday. She seemed relieved but surprised at how completely he just disappeared. Sometimes the smartest retaliation doesn't throw a punch, it uses the system against abusers. If loyalty matters to you, hit like and share this story.